Hi everyone. So today I'm back in my junk journal, and I've laid out a few things that I want to do and what I might want to use for it. So these are the paints that I've laid out today. This is one I have not used yet. I saw Robin McClendon use it in one of her videos when she was doing jelly printing. Beautiful color. It's called iridescent bronze, and then the word fine in parentheses. It looks like a metallic champagne or something when it's on. It's a gold, but different than any other gold I've seen. I'm excited to break it out today. Then I have my Jane Davenport metallic bronze and just a tan color of the Jane Davenport. This is going to be like a little retro page, so I am going to pull out one of my distress inks too. I might use that today. I have a couple of those in that same color. That's weird. I'm not really sure why, but okay. So I'm bringing that out. And of course my white gesso. I also have my black gesso, and then the Deco Art crackle paste. I may or may not use some of these things. I just don't know. And then some odds and ends in the colors I'm looking at today in the antique kind of feel. These are the different things that I've pulled out to possibly use, as well as some lace. This is a stamped image of my dad's old car. It's got some old writing too. I might use that, or I actually had this on my table. This is the actual stamp I made from a drawing I did of his, what do you have, 1956 Buick. So I'm laying that here just in case I decide to use it somewhere rather than just the tissue paper I stamped it on. This, if you haven't done this before and you have rubber stamps, or your friend does, go to your friend's house, take some white tissue paper from Dollar Tree and black ink, and just make a bunch of stamped images. And it's a great way to share with a friend too and get some different stamped images than your own. Because who wants to buy and store 3,000, rubber stamps? Not me. Some people do, but not me. So yeah, that's a great way to save some images and use, because tissue paper, I love it. It overlays things, and when you glue it down, you'll see part of whatever you're gluing it on top of show through. I love stamping on tissue paper. Another thing I've gotten out tissue-wise is a piece of a sewing pattern. And this one was just a little piece I had sticking in my little bin here, straight of fabric. And we were such a straight little family. My dad was a minister. I'm very grateful for that. I've seen some, what has come as a result of, some of the upbringings friends have had and that sort of thing. So I feel really blessed to have had the family and the parents that I had. And that's kind of what this page is about. And it's come about as I just returned from visiting my brother and his beautiful wife and celebrating his birthday. And this brother and I are, I guess, considered Irish twins. We're exactly 14 months apart. And it's been kind of amazing that this person that I fought with so diligently growing up is one of my best friends today. And I talk about a lot of things with, and we're very close. And so that was a wonderful visit and wonderful sharing his birthday. And I've had this picture out, I guess, that I'd had reprinted. And this is my parents when I was just a baby. And this is the brother that just had the birthday, and our oldest brother. And so yeah, this is the impetus for this page. So I had this piano thing already stamped on this little piece of brown parchment paper. Now I buy parchment paper now from the Dollar Tree, but it's white. You can still find Baker's the brown parchment paper different places. I don't know honestly right now what brand is still using the brown, but it's out there. And so I just wrote basically what I was telling you about, my upbringing. And this was a page in my junk journal that I had put a hymn book page in for one of the pages. And this isn't a song we ever sang growing up. It's called God Give Us Christian Homes. It's not a song we ever sang growing up, but I like the meaning behind it for the page that I wanted to do today, because we did have a Christian home and fabulous parents. We didn't have a perfect home, but not by any means, because none of us is perfect. But it was a loving home. And one of the things I wrote on here is, we may not know how to grow great wealth, but we do know how to love greatly. And that's what my parents passed down to us. So I'm going to get started here and just have a little fun. All right, so join me. Okay, so to get started, I add a little gesso to the left side of the page to cover over some of that music so that the words I've written on my brown parchment paper will show through. And I go ahead and take that white and move it around, as well as some of the tan colored acrylic from Jane Davenport. And I'm just trying to add some color to these pages so that I can get them to blend. So I've got this smaller scrapbook paper page on the right and then the hymn book page on the left. I bring in my Ranger Distress ink, and I first try to pounce it on there with a brush. I didn't get enough ink on there, so I just turned the ink upside down and just hit several places around it and used a damp baby wipe or just wet wipe to move that color around. And then I kind of went over it with a little bit watered down gesso and some of that tan acrylic. So now I'm just adding with my trusty Yoo-Hoo glue stick my pattern piece and my stamped car image. I'm putting on my little journal block that I had written on parchment paper, and all those little bits and pieces of paper that I had laid out at the beginning of this project, I start putting those around the page along with some of the images. Now this is a pretty large flower, but I figure I can cut it in half and put it in the seam and it'll do what I need it to do. I add some of the old lace, and I kind of tuck the photo up behind it a little bit. And I put some old photo corners in this really brushed nickel look. And I like the way that looks on there. So I just add the rest of the embellishments that I want around. And then I decided I don't like that Venice page showing behind it. So I'm going to get a piece of craft index cardstock. It's kind of a cardstock, maybe not quite as thick as one, but thicker than just regular paper. And I did some jelly printing on it. So I find one that's got some colors that don't clash with what I have going on. I used some double-sided photo scrapbook type tape to adhere it to the back of my current page, and I effectively cover up that gondola that did not go with this page at all. So that worked really well. I'm just putting in some masking tape over to the left side because that left bottom corner was very flimsy. So I did a masking tape and wrapped it around to add some stability. And now I'm actually putting in that iridescent bronze, which doesn't look bronze to me. It's more of a champagne gold, but it is gorgeous. And I just use my finger and a light brush and just move it around my page on that masking tape. And it just adds this highlight to me that's just incredible. I love the way that turned out. So I'm so happy that I discovered this color. And I hope they don't start making it or stop making it now because I found I loved it. This is a Ranger ink called Coffee. It's a very vintagey color. I love this, and I have had it probably for 15 years. Honestly, I know it's been more than 10. It's probably been closer to 15 years. And if you buy ink pads and you store them upside down and take good care of them, they last. And so that's all I'm going to say about that. I used my Sean Petit stencils in my alphabet, first time using those, and they were so easy to use. And I used the little Ranger, what they call them, daubers, to put on the end of your finger. They have a sponge tip to actually use for that. I think that's easier than trying to use a piece of rolled up cosmetic sponge. And then I just used my white Jelly Roll pen and highlight it, and that's all there was to this page. I love the way it turned out, and I love this picture of my family. So thank you all so much for joining me. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. That helps me rank when people are searching for videos. Also, subscribe and hit that bell button, and YouTube will notify you when I put up a new video. Thanks so much. Y'all take care. Bye.